Starting with her being a physical therapist today, or getting her doctorate. She's in her third year of it at VCU. But to start off with that, like when I was little, and obviously rehabbing from my surgery, she used to see me in Children's Hospital. That's where she saw me a lot, That's where I had all my physical therapy and occupational therapy done. And pretty much she saw me from lying in a cot, not being able to move at all, to the first time I could somewhat walk. It looked like a huge limp, but I was walking again. And doctors after my surgery, they said, this kid probably is never going to be able to walk again. Obviously, I proved them wrong. Started out actually riding this little red bike all throughout the whole entire Children's Hospital because that was part of my rehab, and it was something fun because I used to ride bikes all the time. So she gave me this little red bike, and my sister would literally see me ride it from my room all the way to physical therapy. When I was little, I used to be a little worrywart, as my mom called it, and actually I had to go see a psychologist because every time I would get a headache, I would get scared and think the brain tumor was coming back to haunt me, and I didn't like that at all. I got over that whole stage of my life, but then I got to the stage where I would get down on myself a little bit just because of my disability. I would say I can't do it type thing, Like I would be in middle school and I would be typing up a paper and trying to do the best that I can, trying to do a project, and I'd be like, Mom, I just can't do it. And I would get so frustrated with myself. And then my sister would just walk in the thing and be like, Nick, really? I just wrote a whole paper on you and how you overcame all these obstacles. You were paralyzed, laying in a cot, and then all of a sudden you're walking today, you're still playing soccer, and you're refereeing. Like you're inspiration to so many of my friends just because of what you've gone through. Like just the fact that every time I was down on myself, she would have something that she did in her life that she could tell me that she hadn't told me yet, but it would counteract like my mood, and I'd be like, gosh, I gotta do this. My sister loved me. She cared for me. She was obviously the biggest role model in my life. She was that type A driven person, and she pretty much kept me straight in my life. My sister says I'm an inspiration to a lot of people, and I actually get that from a lot of different people. Like even at my gym, they say there's like a guy that's just like maybe like 20 pounds overweight, and he comes into the gym, just does like an average workout and doesn't see any results. But you're in here, like you have like more problems than he does. To say no offense, but you have more problems than he does. And like, look at you, like you're like 10 times better than he is type thing. My mom always said when I was little, shoot for the stars. And though I've had little like hurdles in my life, that I've had to jump over, I've definitely jumped over them and done pretty much everything the able-bodied person can do, I guess how outgoing I've become, and how easily I've gotten along with people is a lot of how I've influenced a lot of my peers. When my sister asked me to do the talk in front of her whole PT class, her teacher was absolutely thrilled that I could come because I knew my story from beginning to end. Because when I was little, I kind of made up my little story, trying to make it sound a little cooler. But as I grew up, I kept on asking my mom. I was like, Mom, I know I used to think this, but I think something else happened. And my mom would pretty much throw in more and more stuff as I could handle it as I got older. And I pretty much told him down flat like what happened and how a physical therapist helped me. And everyone in the room it was great, right? Because I was scanning from side to side, like in the whole cafe that we were at. And her whole class was just like, everybody had a grin on their face. I was like, yes. I was like, I nailed it. After my brain tumor, my checkups went from, I believe that when I first got it out, it was monthly. And then it went to 2 months, then it went to 3 months, and then it went to 6 months. And once I got to the year, he went on bigger leaps, and he went from 1.5 years to like 2 years. And I was at 2 years, and then in 7th grade I came in for a check-in, and he sat me down because he actually talked to me, and he was like, or actually he called my mom over the phone, and he told her, you're gonna have to tell Nick, and I want you to sit him down and tell him that there was just one little cell that I missed when I was taking all that little good brain out of there. There are ways to get rid of it, and the easiest way is through radiation. We went to see Dr. Song, and I talked to him, and he told me the type of radiation he wanted me to do. My mom was actually really shocked with how calm and how smoothly I was just like, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, I want it out of my head. My thought process was like, I want it out of my head, let's do this. I went in for another checkup, and I was back to like the 3-month thing after the radiation, back to the 6-month, and it was one of those check-ins, and Dr. Ward called me up personally, and he was like, hey man, it's gone for good now. Now I'm back to the 2-year plan, and so far my check-ins are clear, so I'm happy about that. When I was little, my grandpa was a very witty guy, and he always used the sky's the limit. And I went on that as far as I could, you know. The sky is the limit, and that's how I'm going to live my life every day. Live every day as if it were your last. Like, those were like his 2 things that he always told me. He was a big old guy. He was on dialysis. He had the witty. He was like, I'm on dialysis. It has dye in it. I'm going to die eventually, you know. He's like that type of guy. He's like going to tell you how it is. And then I was like, he had those 2 things for him, you know. And then, like, all through my life, I was kind of, like, looking for my own. And then we were going through Hallmark. Hallmark always has the best things in the world. And then I saw this one, and it said, if you're handed it, you can handle it. And just like my mom said, when I was little, God only hands special things to special people who can handle them. And God handed me my brain tumor. I was paralyzed on my right side. And here I am today. I handled it. I handled the situation. I overcame so many hurdles, jumped so many feet, and yeah, I'm here today playing on the U.S. Paralympic national team, and pretty much I would say living the dream. That's how I can put it.